Here we know that Christmas will be green and bright, the sun to shine by day and all the stars.
And I'm always concerned about my diet and making sure that I've got my nutritional needs covered.
Welcome to the very first edition of This Day in Diet History. This is a little bit of a different segment from the first two episodes. It's a segment where I want to go back in time and talk about my diet and compare it with today's regimen. I'm a guy who's been on both ends of the health spectrum, from being the worst possible eater with the worst lifestyle habits to today trying to be as close to perfect as I can be, obviously slipping up sometimes, but we all do. But these days I try to be an example of the healthy guy, and that's what I'm trying to do with Wise Eats, is inspire people. So it's Christmas Eve 2018, and we're going to turn back the clock 8 years to Christmas of 2010. And it's pretty fitting that I would start with this because I discussed this in episode 2 of the podcast, where following my 90-pound weight loss, I got extremely sick, and it was right around Christmas time. So we're going to take a look at that. This is meant to give you a snapshot of how horribly I was eating back in the past versus how well I'm eating today. And maybe, if the diet that I had in 2010 sounds like your diet today, it's time to wise up. So let's go back to Christmas of 2010. We're going to start on the 20th. I had Chinese food, followed by oats, protein, banana. For dinner, I had Little Caesars pizza and a salad from Red Robin. Okay? For a snack that night, I had ice cream sandwiches and milk. Because what's Christmas without some cookies and milk, huh?
Trying to focus on these Wise Eats, but all I can think about is them cookies.
The next day was a little bit better. I had a chicken mix, which was a homemade recipe, and a peanut butter protein shake for dinner. On Wednesday of that week, I started the day off with hot chocolate and cookies, followed by a Christmas dinner, followed by Burger King and Philly steak pizza. Capped that night off with alcohol and ice cream sandwiches. Going off the rails quick.
Lying, no good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed.
Thursday was Father and Son's Pizza, which is a local pizza joint around us in Michigan. For lunch, I had more of the chicken mix recipe, and for dinner, more Father and Son's Pizza. Going now to Christmas Eve, which was Friday. Lunch was dinner with the family, followed by alcohol and cake, and finished that night off with Chinese food.
Who needs chicken fried rice when you've got chicken wise rice?
Right when you needed me.
Christmas Day, for breakfast, Philly pizza, followed by more chicken mix, followed by pizza at my dad's house, because my dad's homemade pizza is phenomenal, and followed that pizza up with cookies and milk. And then to cap the week off on Sunday, started the day off with Dad's Pizza, followed by Bushimi's Pizza for lunch, and more of Dad's Pizza for dinner, and rounded the last meal of the week off with more alcohol and cookies. And guess what happened on the next day? That's when I got the Christmas flu. Wow. Shocking that I would get sick after all that. I mean, imagine that. The whole following week was a week-long binge of Taco Bell, Burger King, ice cream, Sereno pizza. I mean, it was just nonstop. During this time, I even stopped documenting my calories and fat and protein like I had been previously when I lost the weight, because I just knew I was going completely off the rails, obviously. So what a week to start off this day in diet history. I mean, this was signature me 8 years ago. This is nothing like what my diet would be today. I mean, completely different. And on that note, let's take a look at my most recent diet from today.
Bad judge of character.
If my diet can influence somebody else to make a couple of positive changes in their diet, then it's worth it for me to do this. I'm by no means perfect. Some people might hear this and say, your diet today is horrible too. You need to get your stuff together. So my most recent day looks like I had a very light breakfast on this particular day because I knew I was going to have a work Christmas party and wanted to enjoy that meal with my wife and coworkers. So for breakfast, I had a very light salad, which was just a couple handfuls of spinach with 6 ounces of chicken and some raisins. No dressing really. Sometimes I'll use olive oil-based dressing, but other times I'll use liquid aminos, or I'll even use salsa instead of dressing. For lunch, I had my work Christmas party, and there was a lot of unwise choices there to select from, but I did my best, and I had salmon with steamed broccoli and white potatoes, so I didn't do too bad there. Came home and had some of the breakfast bowl recipe with some protein mixed in with that. The breakfast bowl, if you're interested in that recipe, it's over at wise-eats.com/energy bowl.
There it is. A warm, delicious, energy-infused breakfast that's packed full of wise choices.
A couple hours after I had the breakfast bowl, I went to the gym and did chest and arms, which that's my bro day. That's end of the week. All my heavy lifts are out of the way. Deadlifts, squats, bench, overhead shoulder press. Those are all done for the week. And that's Friday is more of an accessory day. I do some extra chest, some arms. Anything that I missed out on throughout the week due to time constraints, I'll throw that in there. It's just an all-around, just kind of a fun day at the gym. So just throwing some weights around. After my workout, I had a blueberry muscle milk. If you're interested in that, wise-eats.com/muscle milk. Then for dinner, had a nice sit-down dinner with my wife. We made the chicken wise rice, which that was spectacular. That recipe's on the website as well.
White jasmine rice is going to give you some clean energy.
I'm gonna put it inside, man.
And for a pre-bed snack, I had a high-protein shake with casein protein, some vegan protein. That's like my treat for the day. It's like a chocolate deliciousness.
I just like to smile. Smiling's my favorite.
But that's a far cry from what my diet looked like back in 2010. And I know if you've followed the show so far, you've seen the pictures. I was 270 pounds and clearly not giving any cares about my health and longevity. And it's a complete 180 from where I'm at today. And that's going to do it for this first edition of This Day in Diet History. I know this was a jumbled mess, but I did my best, and I will continue to improve them going forward.
You sit on a throne of lies.
If you're not watching on YouTube, definitely check it out, because I that's where I put the most of my time. This is a podcast available on iTunes, but it's a YouTube video show, and I put a lot of time and effort into editing that together and throwing in pictures and videos and trying to make an ass of myself as much as possible. And because I want to deliver not only nutrition tips, but entertainment as well. So I hope I can do that for you. And anything you want to hear or see or any feedback on the show in general, feel free to shout out at me. Go over to wise-eats.com. There's a contact section. Hit me up.
Fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey he is.
I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Enjoy your holiday. Spending time with friends and family, if you're doing any parties, gift giving. It's fitting that we did this first edition around Christmas time, because what a better time. It's full of giving and thankfulness and joy and happiness. That's what it's all about. So that's the first edition of This Day in Diet History. Thanks a lot for checking it out. Until next time, Merry Christmas and make wise choices.
Melikilikimaka is a wise way to say Merry Christmas to you.
Happy New Year. Melikimikimaka.
Melikilikimaka is a wise way to say Merry Christmas to you.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
And that's it.